Well, hello there, and welcome back to my channel, y'all. My name is Luca, and today we are building another tiny home in The Sims 4. Today is another installment of my Real to Sims series, so I will be sure to leave a link to the description down below to some other builds that I have done in the past. It's been a minute since I've done this series, so I thought I would give it a go with another tiny home here in Granite Falls. This is on a 30 by 20 lot. It's just called Campground, so you normally can't actually live on this lot, but you can still live on it as a residential lot in another world. You just have to, place it down in a different world. But this one, I will leave a link in the description to the Pinterest post that I made or found for the inspiration behind this build. It was a very modern looking like cabin. It had just like wood accents, like really bright, like orangey wood accents against like some really dark like wood paneling, like black wood paneling. However, I do change the color scheme just a little bit. It wasn't working out for me very well. I don't know. There was just something a little bit off about it. It just, you know the feeling like when you're making something and you just know there's something that you want to change, but you can't put your finger on it. So I did change that orangey wood tone to more of a darker wood tone. It just looked a lot nicer. And I did play around with terrain manipulation in this build a little bit because in the reference photo, it was kind of a little bit on like a slope. So I wanted to kind of emulate that here. And I think it looked pretty good. I liked it a lot. I actually like how it looks because of the stilted foundation that I used. I think if I had used any other foundation, it wouldn't have looked right. It would have looked kind of weird. But this is a very small cabin. It's really just one like open space. Like it's like an open room with a bathroom, and that's it. It does have some outdoor spaces as well. It has a nice little front. Well, I say it's the front yard. It's not the front yard because the orientation of this lot for the gallery is, I forget which side is like the actual front, but I really liked this side as being the front of the lot because it was better lit, just because the lighting angle in the afternoon was kind of made the other side of the lot kind of shadowed a bit, and I didn't really like that, and I wanted to be able to actually see the build in the screenshots and everything. So yeah, I really liked this section of the build because I did this little winding path, and then I put a lot of plants around it, and I didn't go too crazy because of course with terrain manipulation things tend to float at weird angles and such because that's just how it is. But I used the tool mod to basically what I did, I used the tool mod and I went to elevate and I put a negative number in, and that makes it go down into the ground a little bit. And so I did that with a few things here and there just to kind of make sure that it wasn't floating or looking awkward or anything. I still wanted there to be some landscaping on this slope because it was like that in the picture that I was looking at. And then I used some terrain paints as well to kind of just add some like dimension and shading to the ground and make it look a little bit more intentional, because if I hadn't done any of this terrain painting, it would have looked really like unfinished, I think. So yeah, and I just keep doing that with the landscaping here and there, and I really like the landscaping. I didn't go too crazy because I thought it's the woods, it's the wilderness, they want some open space here and there so that they can actually navigate and like move around. And something that really struck me with this the reference that I was using, I really liked the front porch here where there was these like beams across the front there, but the roof section was kind of open a little bit. So I don't know, I thought that was kind of a cool little touch. You could see I've been really liking using spandreling inside as well. It's called spandrels. You can call them beams as well, but that's what it's called in the game, and they're really handy for separating spaces without actually putting in a wall or a fence or anything. And if you use it with fences, it actually makes it look a little bit more sectioned off. It looks just a little bit more like built in together. Oh, and I love the side porch thing there with the beam that goes all the way up to the roof. I love that. I love that little bit of detailing. It'd be cool if we had more like roof tools like that, like different like bits and bobs that you could like attach to like the ends of the roofing to like add like decals and stuff like that. I know we had stuff like that in The Sims 3 back in the day, like with that Victorian house set. I think I remember seeing it a long time ago, but I can't remember what it's called. But I loved that set, and I really wish we could get something like that in The Sims 4. That would be so much fun. And then I added a little back deck back here that's separate from the house. I added a hot tub to that later. I just thought that would be a nice little hangout space for, you know, the couple that stays here, because I can imagine this is like a couple's retreat. You know, it's Valentine's Day coming up soon, and I thought, you know, this could be a little bit Valentine's-y themed a little bit, but not overly, you know, handed. You know, it's just, I don't know. It was really fun landscaping this little section here of the hill. It just looked really natural, and I used these lights, which are from the base game, but they look like flowers, and I thought they looked really cool because they like aim the light down at an angle. It's not just like a glow surrounding the lamp. It's like it's a directional light, which is always so fun in The Sims. I don't know why. And I do attempt to use this big window from the Moschino stuff pack. It's beautiful. Those are beautiful windows, and I love using them so much, but it wasn't working out in this build. And also another little thing that I've found that I don't understand completely, but I know it happens every single time, and there's really nothing that I can do about it. It's whenever you use the stilted foundations in builds, you can't like adjust the walls on the interior at all. You have to remove that stilted foundation and make it like a normal one before you can edit it again. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know if it's just a glitch, if it's just a bug with the game, or if it's something intentional so it doesn't like get broken or whatever. I'm not really sure, but it was definitely giving me some issues. So I do replace it later on, but I just took it off for that reason. And I did leave some of this in. I didn't want to like totally take it out because, you know, it was part of the process. But in this build, I did struggle a little bit with figuring out the floor plan and just getting started. Honestly, that's something I have a little trouble with when it comes to builds anyway, is just getting started on the interior or, you know, whatever, because the main inspiration for this house was the exterior. That's what I found on Pinterest. That's what I looked at. That's what gave me that spark of interest. And I had no clue what I wanted the interior to look like. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to come up with something. And this initially was when I decided, I don't like this orangey wood. I don't want to use this for this build because it was just too bright and too, I don't know, it just didn't fit with Granite Falls for me. Granite Falls is a little bit of a different vibe. I feel like this would have looked good in maybe anywhere else, maybe Oasis Springs, surprisingly, I know, but it would have looked kind of cool because of the black contrasting against all the orangey tones in Oasis Springs. That would be really cool. But just in this build, it didn't work. I wasn't a big fan of it. And so I do change this later on, but I just thought I'd leave it in just so that you can see a little bit of some you know, ideas maybe. I do like this kitchen though. If this was in another world or another house, I think this would look really cute. I like this setup, and I like this is just mostly from the Snowy Escape expansion pack, and then a couple of different things here and there from other sets, but I love that set. It's really, really nice. And then this is whenever I decided to change the colors, and I had already started, but I was like, I'll record the rest, why not? And I immediately liked it more. It looked so much better for me. I know this is supposed to be me recreating a real tiny house in The Sims 4, but this was just my own little bit of creative like interpretation, or maybe creative change. I can't remember the word I was looking for, but you know, this is just me deciding I didn't like that and I want to change it. And I kept the layout pretty simple. I honestly, one tip that I recommend is if you're struggling with a floor plan, just place down some items that you want to use and figure out an orientation that you like them in, and then base your floor plan around that. Sometimes working backwards can kind of help, because I've noticed that if I try to build a floor plan and don't place anything down, it's kind of hard to tell how things are going to look, and the sizes of things can affect the floor plan. And yeah, I did a little corner here with some sectional sofas. I was going to use the ones from Dream Home Decorator, of course, because those are the classic sectionals. They're actual sectional sofas, but these little pieces here, they're actually from the My First Pet stuff pack. I know it's a cursed pack. We all hate it, but you know, there's some good stuff in it, and these are some pretty nice couches. And I honestly really liked the difference in style, because the ones from the Dream Home Decorator pack they're very specific style, and these are a little bit more cleaner, a little bit more modern, and honestly they fit really well in this kind of cabin, because you know, with Granite Falls you can kind of go like 3 different ways. You can do like the campground aesthetic, you can do like a cabin traditional aesthetic that's really rustic, or you can go something a little bit more modern and a little bit more, I don't know, I feel like this is like a nice in-between of like a really modern home and like a rustic cabin. There's like elements of both, and I really like that about it. That's especially with the changing the wood tones to this like dark wood. honestly looks so much better. I think it fits the world better, and yeah, I really, really like it. It's very nice in here, and the floor plan is finally figured out here. I like this. I like this a lot because you're still able to kind of keep it all open, sort of, but the kitchen is still slightly sectioned off from like the bedroom, and like, I don't know, it's got a nice flow because the kitchen is into the dining room, and the dining room goes into the living room, and the living room goes into the bedroom, and it's still separate, but it's really open. And I don't know, I just think for smaller homes, while having separate sectioned off rooms for everything is nice, it's also nice to have open plan like spaces too. And in this case, of course, you get the best of both worlds because it's kind of sectioned off, but it's kind of not. And I really was a big fan of this window from Snowy Escape. It's this like little window that looks like a sliding window. I love this window, and I don't really use it enough, and I think it being over the sink here is so, like, it makes so much sense to me. And like, I can just imagine them like sliding that open and then having it open while they're doing the dishes and just like breathing in that fresh, you know, mountain air. I don't know. I kind of had it in my head that whoever like owns this cabin, they come here pretty often. It's not something they do all the time, but like they do it like every so often just for, you know, escapism, I guess, because it's, you know, it's just a nice little cozy cabin. And gosh, I just wish we could live in Granite Falls, low-key. That would be so fun. Just imagine a Granite, like an outdoor retreat refresh, and they add the ability to live in Granite Falls, and then you can also maybe work as a park ranger or something. Maybe it's like an active career that's sort of like how the conservationist career is in Island Living. That would be so fun if you could be like a park ranger or like a habitat, like study person. I don't know. That would be really fun. And here I am finally moving on to just adding some decor here and there just to make the space a little bit more livened up. I do eventually put down wallpaper, trust me. I always do this whenever I'm building, is I will kind of wait until the end sort of to put down a wallpaper so that I can like match the wallpaper to the items that I want to use instead of the opposite, because I feel like if the wallpaper is already put down, it really influences how I build, and then it's just like I'm constantly going back and forth. But I do use this herringbone kind of, is it herringbone or is it, no, it's not herringbone, it's more chevron, because the herringbone locks in together and these are not. But this is just some wall paneling from the Bowling Nights stuff pack. Very nice, honestly, but you can use that with a lot of things. It has matching wood tones with a lot of stuff in other packs as well, so you can mix and match it. And I don't know, I really liked it in here because it still kept it looking modern, but that dark wood tone tied it all in together really well. And I don't know, it was just, I don't know, I love all the dark wood tones. It's just very comforting in here. And you see me do this, I did it so quickly, but I used one of those like jar lights. They're like a ceiling light that are like hanging lanterns. They're like jars. They're supposed to be like, I guess, like supposed to sort of look like, you know, fireflies or something. They don't, but you know, I did that with the spandreling there, and it was kind of nice, but it was very bright. I will say that it made the room too bright. So later on, once I finish actually recording the build, I go in with the Better Build by Mods like feature of being able to change the lighting in game, or in game, no, the lighting in build mode, and it's really cool. If you have the Better Build by mod by Twisted Mexi, I would highly recommend you check out that mod if you haven't checked it out yet. If you're a PC builder, it really helps you build because it unlocks things. It makes sure that all the debug and live edit objects are sorted out into different categories so that you don't have to go searching for them every single time. And it's especially well for plants and landscaping, let me tell you. But you can also shift click lights and change the lighting and the brightness in build mode. So I do that eventually with the lights on that spandreling there so that every other light is turned off, so it's not super bright in here. It's also really good because you can change the color of the lighting and adjust the brightness so that you can set a mood. Definitely recommend doing that. If you're trying to build something and it's just too bright and it just doesn't look like it has any personality, you can go in and just adjust the lighting, because even like turning off like the ceiling light and just having a lamp on makes the space look so much nicer. Let me tell you, I do that in my personal gameplay because, you know, in real life, I don't like having overhead lights on. Nobody does. It's gross. It's too bright. It's too much. It's too intense. It's very just, yeah, it's too much. So having like just a lamp on in the corner is all you need. And I feel like in my builds, it reflects that because it honestly looks so good in The Sims. But here I am just adding some more bits and bobs outside. I'm moving on to the side porch and then this little deck here. I put the anniversary hot tub. I know it's so controversial, but it honestly fits really well here in Granite Falls. And of course it's base game, so you don't have to have the perfect patio kit or perfect patio stuff pack. Wow, I just disrespected stuff packs. Perfect patio is not the best. Stuff pack really is not. But, I just disrespected stuff packs because where the stuff packs stand on this channel. But definitely, because kits, I love kits, but I want more stuff packs. I miss the stuff packs. I miss game packs. I feel like we don't get enough of those either. We've got some, but I don't know. I really hope we get like an Elders game pack. That would be so awesome. And then right here, I'm just adding a little bit more terrain paint just to kind of, zhuzh it up. And I was just kind of adding some other bits and bobs here and there. And I do take away some of these lights. I don't know. I was going to do like a fence and some lighting, and it just, I don't know. I feel like it didn't make sense because, you don't really see that here in Granite Falls very much. So I do get rid of them so that it's, not, taken away from the landscape surrounding the lot. And then of course I do add some trees because that helped it blend in way better. I did that towards the end because trees can kind of get in the way of the camera sometimes. Oh, here I am actually adjusting the lights. And I don't know if I did record this process. See how I can just shift click. And what I did was I shift clicked the light and then selected the whole room, turned the dimming all the way down, and then I went in and adjusted each light. That's hard to say. Each light individually, and adjusting like the color, making the candles a little bit more warmer, and just kind of dimming some of the lights, making some lights more colorful, just to kind of add some, elements of just uniqueness in little areas. But here I am just putting on a few more items here and there, and that is everything. I will have this available on the Sims 4 gallery. All you have to do is search for my username Luca Owens, that is LuccaOwens, as well as the hashtag Luca, and this will become part of my save file. I wasn't going to initially, but it makes sense to put in my save file. But yeah, that is everything. Thank you all so very much for watching. Stay weird, and I will speak to you all next time. Goodbye, my friends.